Here's a question for all you mind readers out there. Well, it is that time of the month once again. It's April 2022, and I have just received the April 2022 DVD and Blu-ray HorrorPacks. So, as is our way, I'm going to open them up and discuss whatever it is that we find inside. Before I do all of that, let me just first apologize if I'm not quite myself today. I'm just back from the dentist, and it's the beginning of allergy season, so I'm really not quite myself today, but I will endeavor to do the best that I can. And while we're on the subject, if you want to really make me feel much better, be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment, do all of those wonderful things. I don't know if it'll cure my allergies, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to fix my teeth, but it will make me feel better. And with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and open up the DVD and Blu-ray HorrorPacks from April 2022. Here comes box number 1. And within box number 1, we find, of course, pack number 1. Let's put that there, and that over there, and proceed to pack number 2. There it is. And there's pack number 2. So let's go ahead and open up these packs. We'll see what's inside. As is our usual way here on the Phobophile channel, I will begin with the DVD horror pack. And the first out of that is a film called The Siren. Have I seen this? No. The one I'm thinking of was called Mermaid Lake of the Dead, which was, I want to say maybe Russian, Eastern European, something of the sort. This is not that, so I haven't seen this one. Let's go ahead and read the description on the back and see what we're actually in for. According to the blurb on the back, The Siren is an enthralling, seductive, and creepy supernatural tale about cursed star-crossed lovers. Tom rents a cabin on a secluded lake marked by a local legend of a lovelorn spirit who haunts the surrounding woods and drowns anyone she encounters. Drawn to her immediately, Tom knows he has found his soulmate in the seemingly human Nina, who must battle to repress her demonic instincts when she feels the same towards him. Meanwhile, a man possessed by vengeance circles the pair, getting ever closer to tracking down the monster that murdered his husband. Part dark fairy tale and part elegant nightmare, The Siren is a heart-wrenching story of passion and revenge that will take hold of you and never let go. That sounds like, as is frequently the case, not an entirely original plot. The idea of somebody falling in love with the monster has a sort of Beauty and the Beast element to it. It's a very old story. There's a gender reversal in this case, in that the beast seems to be the siren, so it's the female monster. I like the sound of this one. I've not seen it, but according to the back, Gruesome magazine called it a hypnotic tale with a folkloric fairy tale vibe. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. Fairy tale sort of characteristics, or fairy tale sort of je ne sais quoi coming through in the description, so I'm looking forward to giving The Siren a watch soon. Next out of the DVD pack, we have a film called In the Trap. The little tagline says, "Don't let evil in." And the cover of this one and some of the pictures that I'm seeing on the back look familiar. Not in the sense that I've seen the film, but I'm wondering now if I've seen a trailer or whether I'm confusing it for something else. Let's read the description and see if that helps me out. The description says, Philip, a young proofreader, has been living in a self-imposed prison. Convinced that an evil force wants to take possession of his soul, he secludes himself in his childhood apartment, the only place where he thinks he's able to keep himself safe. But a meeting with a mysteriously alluring young woman makes him question his beliefs. Have the demons that have haunted him all his life been simply a product of his own imagination, or is this new temptation yet another trap the devil has set for him? I think that's the question we must all ask ourselves when we find ourselves in situations that perhaps seem too good to be true. Carrying on, though, it says, a chillingly claustrophobic take on demonic possession and the nature of faith. In the Trap is a nail-biting suspense thriller where nothing, not even salvation, is as it seems. So it's playing with some of the familiar ideas of demonic possession or demonic oppression, but maybe with some other ideas added in, maybe playing with the dichotomy between belief and doubt in hopefully new and interesting ways, even though that is a dichotomy that's familiar in these types of movies. But it's a dichotomy that's actually interesting. Now that I've read the description, I do think I've seen the trailer for this, and I think it actually looks like a pretty good demonic possession sort of a movie. Again, I haven't seen it, but again, I am looking forward to watching it. That's In the Trap. And third from the DVD pack is a film called From the Dark. The description on this one says, when a young couple embark on a road trip through the Irish countryside, car trouble lands them in a place that few people would choose to visit. When something sinister is awakened from 1,000-year slumber deep within the dark bog, the couple is faced with an unimaginable evil. They soon realize that light is their only protector, but as the sun sets and light sources dwindle, the creature becomes more powerful, and they are in a fight for their lives. There is nothing to prepare you for the terror that will emerge from the dark. So I don't know if this is a vampire story or if it's another type of nocturnal creature feature. Either way, I like the sound of it. I think the idea of why are we afraid of the dark and what haunts the dark and finding protection in the light is, of course, very familiar to horror fans, as it is to fiction and mythology in general, but it's familiar for very good reason. There's actually some deep psychology and philosophy at the heart of that. It looks like this is an Irish film based on some of the quotes I see on the back, and the Irish have done some good things in horror recently, so this sounds quite promising, even though I'm not familiar with it before now. Once again, I have high hopes for From the Dark. And finally, from the DVD pack is a film called The Disappeared. According to the cover, evil is among us, and it certainly is. Let's see what the description on the back says, shall we? According to the description, one night in a London housing project playground, 8-year-old Tom Ryan vanished without a trace. He was never found. But for his guilt-ridden older brother Matthew, the terror has just begun. He has started seeing and hearing what may be the ghost of the missing boy, who is now trying to lead him to the shocking truth behind his disappearance. You can hide a secret, but can you ever bury the horrors of the past? Tom Felton, that's Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter, co-stars in this disturbing debut chiller from co-writer-director Johnny Kevorkian. I wonder any relation to Dr. Kevorkian. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe I'll Google it later. Anyway, co-writer-director Johnny Kevorkian, that Electric Sheep magazine calls a tense and absorbing experience. Kevorkian shows plenty of talent for building a creeping sense of terror and delivering genuinely hard-in-your-mouth shocks. Sounds pretty good. The idea of a ghost leading somebody to the perpetrator of a murder, and I'm guessing this is a murder just based on the description, that's an idea that's been done before, but everyone that does it, it seems like has sort of a slightly different take on it. So even though it's been done a million times before, very often it still feels like kind of a fresh story. Hopefully this is no exception. It sounds good, and I'm looking forward to trying The Disappeared. And that brings us, of course, to the Blu-ray HorrorPack from April 2022, from which the first film is... oh, it's Full Moon High. This is a Larry Cohen film from... it's from the 80s. I want to say the early 80s? Yeah, 1981. For those of you who don't know, Larry Cohen was the writer and director of such wonderful films as The Stuff and It's Alive and Q. So if you know any of those films, you have a pretty good idea of what you're in for with Full Moon High. This is a film that I've seen, but I didn't have a copy of it in my collection before, so I'm thrilled to now have this Blu-ray. For those of you who don't know this film, or maybe you're unfamiliar with Larry Cohen's work in general, I'll go ahead and read the description. The problems of a typical high school teenager take on monstrous proportions in this comical send-up of horror movies. The most important thing to quarterback Tony Walker is to win the big game against arch-rival Simpson High. But this plan soon changes when Tony is bitten by a werewolf, and that's when things really start to get hairy. Now, whenever there's a full moon, he transforms into a growling beast that hungrily chases down beautiful girls. Cursed to live forever as a teenager with uncontrollable urges, Tony realizes he must find a way to end this cycle of animalistic excess. This is actually a really good film. I quite like pretty much everything that Larry Cohen has done. This is no exception. It's a good horror comedy. Obviously, it's a werewolf movie. You're gonna like it, so this is a good offering from the Blu-ray HorrorPack. Let's hope the rest are as good. And next out of the Blu-ray pack, we have a Nicolas Cage movie called Pay the Ghost. I like Nicolas Cage. That may be a controversial statement because Lord knows he's done some not so great movies, but his performances kinda always elevate even the worst of movies because he's so... well, he's Nicolas Cage. I don't know this film. I'm thinking this is probably one of his direct-to-video releases that he seems to be doing a million of because either he needs the money or he just likes it, or I don't really know why, but thank God he's doing them because they're frequently a lot of fun. The description on this one says, Oscar winner Nicolas Cage stars in this intense and chilling thriller about one man's desperate search for his missing child. Another missing child film. 1 year after his young son disappeared during a Halloween carnival, Mike Lawford is haunted by eerie images and terrifying messages he can't explain. Together with his estranged wife, he will stop at nothing to unravel the mystery and find their son. And in doing so, he unearths a legend that refuses to remain buried in the past. So we've got a missing child, perhaps some supernatural involvement of some unspecified sort, and we've got Nick Cage, presumably doing his Nick Cage kind of thing. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to trying it. And third, from the Blu-ray pack, we have a film called The Final Wish. This one I've not seen, but have seen the trailers for, and it looks excellent. I think it's been on Shudder or some of the other services. It doesn't specify that it's an exclusive to Shudder or anything like that, so I'm not sure exactly where I saw the trailer, but I know that I have. It also says it's from the creator of Final Destination, for those of you who like those movies. And the description on the back says, from the creator of the Final Destination franchise comes a new twisted tale of death. With the unexpected passing of his father, Aaron tries to come to terms with his grief while supporting his devastated mother. Sifting through his father's belongings, Aaron comes upon an urn that is far more than it seems. As his wants and wishes start coming true, Aaron thinks his prayers have been answered until he realizes the price of this good fortune is much more than he bargained for. And we note on the cover it says, this film features Michael Welch, Lynn Shay, Spencer Locke, and Tony Todd. I've noticed that Tony Todd has recently made small appearances in quite a large number of horror films, just to lend the film whatever credibility his name carries with it. So I don't know if this is a large role or if he's just on for a scene or two, but he frequently chooses good projects even if he's only on for a short time, so that bodes well. The rest of the cast is also quite strong. The trailer looks great for this, and I'm really looking forward to trying this one. It's been on my list for a while, ever since I saw those trailers. Haven't gotten around to it yet, so I'm quite pleased to have now received this Blu-ray copy. And finally, once every month, HorrorPack includes in the Blu-ray pack a HorrorPack exclusive, something that's not on Blu-ray otherwise, or a new Blu-ray edition, or somehow exclusive to the HorrorPack subscribers. This one, we have exclusive number 70, and it's a film called Deathcast. The description on this one says, 6 fame-hungry young actors cast in an experimental horror film arrive on set to discover that the terror is real. One by one, the actors become the victims as the killer goes off script and real blood begins to flow. Again, as is often the case with these exclusives, not an entirely original story, but I've almost always liked to loved these exclusives, so even if it's not an entirely original story, frequently they have original twists on the story, or even if they don't do that, at least they usually present well-told versions of the story. I like this idea of actors thinking they're in a fictional story and ending up in a real slasher story. Again, not entirely original, but a good story, and this one looks like a pretty good film. The cover art I like. The description I like. Rue Morgue on the back calls it genre-busting, so I'm pretty excited about this one too. It's a fairly rare HorrorPack exclusive that I don't like, and I am, as with the rest of these, looking forward to trying Deathcast. And so there we have 8 wonderful new offerings for my collection. Deathcast, The Final Wish, Pay the Ghost, Full Moon High, The Disappeared, From the Dark, In the Trap, and The Siren. I'm looking forward to all of these, so I'm going to go start watching them. Do be sure to stay tuned for all of my wonderful horror-related, creepy, twisted goodness on this channel. There's a lot more coming soon. But in the meantime, I've got movies to watch, so I'm going to sign off. And that means all I have left is to say, as I always do, take care and stay scared.